war in Iran is only a week old, or anyway, its name is, the reboot means Congress is still not part of the government. Presidents who think they can fool anybody by renaming a crime as a different crime are not stupid. They're in charge.
It's now generally known that there are some 500 members of the Fortune 500. It's declassified now. And 535 members of the United States Congress. Now, who do those extra 35 people represent?
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson has advised corporatos like Starbucks execs who don't want to be taxed that it's okay with her if they decide to leave Seattle. In her signature deathless prose, she offered her support.
And if, the ones that leave, bye.
A Russian woman accused of kidnapping Ukrainian children has been chosen to facilitate human rights abuses. Not to judge them. Don't be judgy. This brings to mind 1. It takes one to know one. 2. The pot calling the kettle black. And 3. To be fair, there's no more qualified person for this post in Russia who's not in prison. In other Russia news, respected human rights advocates Pussy Riot called for the Russia Pavilion at the Venice Biennale to spotlight artists who stood up for Ukraine, or wrote a post, or liked a post, or tried to burn down a military draft office. Ms. Riot, you have my vote. Doge is back in the doghouse. Judge say the Musketeers' cancellation of grants from the National Endowment for Humanities was not cool, but did chill the grantee community. It was also discriminatory, singling out non-white male heteros and DEI grants such as Holocaust documentaries and other such PC shit. Judge also say you can't just abolish things because the previous administration did them. That's not government. That's vengeance. Capiche, Dunny? It turns out that Donald Trump, the spirit heir of presidents, created fake companies conjuring fake losses to lower his taxes that we are now officially not allowed to see ever. Yes, he promised to drain the swamp and refill it with his own superior sludge, as only he could do. However, allegations that his people traded stocks the day before relevant government actions were implemented are fake alleges. The trades were 15 minutes before. Colbert is off the air. CBS has curtailed dissent to get Trump to okay a merger that will curtail dissent. Makes sense, I guess, if you're despotism adjacent. The feds intend to prosecute people for conspiracy if they have organized protests, slightly altering the First Amendment. They say protesters have tried to stop federal agents from doing their illegal, immoral jobs. I might have a dog in this one. Perpetual fraudster and greatest president ever, DJT, has taken $1.776 billion from me and you to pay off his riot squad. And no, I don't mean cops. His private army. Many boys are proud of this settlement. They do not miss the implication that the legacy of 1776 consists in immunity for high crimes by crime bosses in government and their thugs. But to be clear, Mr. T is not corrupt. He's just ethically challenged. Leave him be. He's busy warning Cuba not to repress dissent. That's our job. A California judge has banned Cars for Kids ads because the org scam is not helping underprivileged kids in California, but instead funding trips to Israel for Orthodox Jewish 17 and 18-year-olds from New York and New Jersey. The ruling will be challenged on the grounds that Judge Apkarian is a supporter of the Armenian genocide theory, and we all know that there has only ever been one genocide, so she is clearly an unreliable witness. Sorry, witless judge. Now, about this semiquincentennial thing. Not to harp on it or carp about it, and certainly not to thwarp around it, but the fact is that supporters of the American Revolution were a minority, if perhaps a bare plurality. The rest of us colonizers saw it as bonkers. But the bankers, they saw something else. The financial founding fathers naturally supported whoever was winning at the moment, as the smart money always supports the greater good of the moment. If you're not an investor, you won't understand their A-grade morality, known colloque as amorality. And of course, those bankers still rule the never was great America, which is named after a guy who discovered what was never lost. But hey, what's a continent or two between colonists? Israeli shock troops, commonly called settlers, continue their rampages through the West Bank, beating farmers and herders and their families and torching their homes and even tents. The Israeli army calls these adventurers a few mixed-up kids. In order to unmix them, the army often arrive and calm the kids by shooting the Palestinians for them. Sometimes they merely interview the victims by arresting them. At this point, it appears there actually are people in so-called Palestine who have been herding sheep here for millennia, and something must be done about that. And in total disregard for the feelings of some Jews, Mayor Mamdani has angered Jewish leaders by saying the founding of Israel was on the backs of displaced Palestinians. They were told by Egypt to leave, one leader lied, reaching back through 4 previous lies that evaporated when their uselessness became too obvious. In alternative news, King Donald of United Statesia has drawn a line down the middle of Manhattan and declared the west side of it federal property, subject to federal but not city laws or officials. It will be demolished and rebuilt in gold. King Boy cited as precedent the Israeli yellow line down the middle of Gaza, which of course was his idea. A rationale has surfaced for deporting migrants from the U.S. to third countries where they have no connections. The threat of such transfer should serve to deter people planning to come to the U.S. illegally, which was the practice of the original colonists, but is now frowned upon. There are many methods available for forcing people whose countries we have destroyed to stay there, and all of them are against international law and also immoral. On the other hand, it gets votes.